Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for those who are connected to our YouTube channel today. I wanted to say hello to several people who I saw there. So we have with us today Tech Lead. We have also Juan Pablo, Esteban. We also have Iki, Eric Borte, and Ricardo Hamed, who's joining from Kenya. And yeah, and that's it. I see some familiar names, and I'm so glad that you are here with me today. So, today we're going to cover a topic which is, I would say, an established topic, but that it is important to quite understand, right? And I want to refer to a comment I saw today on LinkedIn that I loved. Okay, so on LinkedIn, Alan Peterson said, packaging is critical, but misunderstood. So that is what we're going to clarify today. We're going to cover the different types of packages that you can create on Salesforce. We're going to explain the differences between the first generation of packages and the second generation of packages. And we are going to also do some demos. Okay, so with that, I want to start by showing the forward-looking statement slide, which just means that you should make purchasing decisions based on the features that are currently available. And let's start talking about the amazing topic of packaging. If you have questions, of course, as always, don't hesitate asking them in the chat window. Okay, I will be monitoring it and taking your questions. Okay, so we're going to have a first part of the presentation in which I'm going to show you some slides, and then we will go into the demos. First of all, which kinds of packages do we have at Salesforce, right? There are really four kinds of packages. We have two that were like first generation and two that are second generation, right? The new way of building packages. So the first generation, if you have been with Salesforce for maybe 10 years or even a bit less, I'm sure that you are familiar with them, right? Because they were there almost from the beginning, from when the App Exchange was created, and the second generation ones were created around 5 or 6 years ago. So first generation, forever, second generation, newer. On the first generation packages, we have like two different kind of packages, which are managed packages and first generation managed packages, and we're going to see the differences now. And on the second generation, we have unlocked packages. I'm sure that you have heard about this. For instance, if you are using our Salesforce sample apps, we always give you an option to install them through an unlocked package, and also second generation managed packages, which are an evolution of the first generation ones, and for which ones we are providing already a migration tool, which is on developer preview. So let's start talking about the main differences between managed packages and unmanaged or unlocked packages, right? So managed packages are required for commercial distribution. This is, if you want to monetize your package by uploading it to the App Exchange, then you will need to create a managed package and you will need to go under a security review to ensure that everything in your package is correct and safe for the customers who purchase it, right? Managed packages have IP protection, intellectual property protection, because the subscribers, this is the target or in which the package is installed, are not able to see the code of your package, right? And the components that are installed with those kind of packages are locked. The subscriber cannot edit them. And that is true for both first generation and second generation managed packages. So on the second place, we have a managed and locked packages, which are kind of similar. They have some similarities, but we are going to see their differences later, right? And I would say that unlocked packages are somewhere in the middle between managed and unmanaged, right? But let's start dividing them in these two big blocks, because it's what makes more sense for understanding the whole thing, right? So in contrast with managed packages, managed and unlocked packages are not created for commercial distribution. Rather, you use them to, for instance, move your code from your different pipeline stages, from your developer sandboxes to your full copy sandboxes to your production org. That could be a use of unlocked packages, for instance. Or, for instance, if you are implementing code for a third-party customer, you could use also a matched package for distribution. But if you are going to distribute code for multiple customers, then you should really consider the managed package option, right? These don't have intellectual property protection. You install the package and the subscriber can see everything that's in the package, and they are subscriber editable. This is, you install the package and the subscriber can change your Apex classes or whatever metadata components are installed there. And we're going to start talking about managed packages. So we have first generation and second generation managed packages, right? So first generation managed packages need a packaging org, need your code, your metadata to exist in a packaging org, so you can create the package from there. However, with second generation managed package, the source of truth is your version control system. Those packages are created from the code that you have in your local repository. When you create the package version, really what's happening behind the scenes is that it is being deployed to an org to make sure that all the contents there are self-deployable, right? You can, like, that the package doesn't have a dependency on some managed code, for instance, but they are created from your code, your local copy of the code. This means that in the org, you don't need to have that code deployed at all in the dev hub, right? I said dev hub. Why? Because you need an org that is set up as a dev hub for creating packages. This means that you need to go to the setup menu and activate the dev hub option and also the packaging option. And the dev hub is going to act as like a hub. Actually, I'm looking for another word, but I think hub describes best what it means, in which you have listed all the packages and their package versions, but no more. Okay, we're going to see later that those packages and package versions are stored in a standard object, which is called package2version, and that you can query that standard object and see which versions and packages you have created with that dev hub. But again, not code in the dev hub at all. Then for the first generation, it was very typical to create packages through the standard UI, through the setup UI. And I've done that in the past several times. But also, there are some CLI commands that you could use to create packages, whereas in the second generation packages, everything goes through command line. right? Everything much more developer friendly and automatable, that you can automate, right? Then in first generation managed packages, you can only create one package per packaging or, because you can only define one namespace from packaging or. You go to the packaging or, you define a namespace, and that's it. That's going to be the namespace for your managed package, right? And the only way that you have to expose methods through a global API, so in the subscriber or those methods can be called from other Apex code, right, is using global classes, is annotating your classes as global. This, of course, has some limitations that were solved with second generation managed packages. So with second generation managed packages, we created them like trying to solve all those limitations, and we decided to create a much more flexible system in which multiple packages can exist per dev hub. So for instance, if you are a company who has different applications for different use cases, you can use the same dev hub for handling them. And it's even more because you can create multiple packages per namespace, so that those packages can share the code in a special way, which is something new that we introduced for second generation managed packages. And that special way is the namespace accessible annotation. It's an annotation that you can use in your package methods so that they are exposed to other packages that share the same namespace. Very convenient, because as an ISV, you can make your packages talk without exposing those methods to third-party customers. Okay, what else? Then package versioning is also different, because in first generation managed packages, it is linear. So you go from version 1 to version 2 to version 3, etc. And there is a way of creating patches, but it's a little bit limited. And if you decide to create a patch for a specific version, you need to use a special org called patch org. Okay. Whereas in second generation managed packages, the package versioning is much more flexible because it supports different branches. So for instance, I could create version 1 and then 1.2 and then 1.3 and have also version 2 and version 3 and get all those branches evolving independently, right? Much more flexibility. And in contrast to first generation managed packages, the patches packages that you create in second generation are always done through the CLI, following the same packaging process that you follow with the other types of packages, those that are like main versions or minor versions. Then just one more detail that you need to take into account is that first generation managed packages can only depend on 1GP packages, while 2GP packages can depend both on 1GP and 2GP packages. And something to bear in mind is that you need to check which metadata is supported on second generation managed packages and first generation, because not all the metadata are supported in both. I'm going to show you some links now in regards to managed packages so that you can continue learning from there. Okay, so this is the Apex Change. This is where our customers publish managed packages. If you don't know it, I will share a QR code right now in the screen. And this is where managed packages are published at the end. And you can also publish unlocked packages in the App Exchange, but they cannot be like monetized, right? Then this is the the configuration file. I leave you the link here that you need to use in second generation managed packages. And these are the details of the different properties that you can use there. And I wanted to point to these ancestor properties that are the ones that let you create those branches, those different evolution branches in which the package can be developed, right? Like version 1.2 or version 2.3. And yeah, and this is the project file that you will need to use to create second generation managed packages. And if you have worked with unlocked packages before, this would be familiar to you because it's the same sfdx project.json file that you use for unlocked packages. And we are going to have a demo about that later. Then, if you want to know more about second generation managed packages, there is a Trailhead module that you can complete, and that is quite useful. And this is the metadata coverage report. Sorry, sharing the Trailhead right now. And this is the metadata coverage report that you need to check to make sure which metadata components are supported in 2GP, 1GP, and also unlocked packages. So for instance, you can see here that for action plan template, this is supported in 1GP, but not supported in 2GP. So that could be a consideration to take into account when deciding to go to one or the other. But you have seen how much flexibility and options second generation managed packages provide. So unless you have like a big blocker, I would say that you go always to second generation managed packages for new packages, right? Then I wanted to also talk about, this is the metadata report link. I wanted to also talk about 1GP to 2GP migration, right? We are working on some CLI commands that are going to let you do that migration seamlessly. So if you have 1GP packages and you want to migrate to the new approach, it's easy for you to execute that migration, right? Those CLI commands are currently on developer preview, and the idea is that you create that conversion, those converted packages, and then you synchronize with your subscribers, your customers, so they do the migration. And all that is explained in this great blog post that John Bello created, in which you will also see a summary of all the benefits that I just explained about 2GP package development, and more in-depth is explanation about the migration tool. So the migration tool is currently on developer preview, and you can provide feedback to the product managers that are in charge of it on this through our Trailblazer community. And this is the link for this resource that I was mentioning here. Great. So before continuing with manage and unlocked packages, I'm going to take a look at the chat because I see some questions. Extreme Weirdness is asking if unlocked packages can also have a namespace. And yes, unlocked packages can have a namespace, and that is the main reason because I say that they are like somewhere in the middle between unmanaged and first generation managed packages. And we're going to see that in a moment. And then Tech Lead Consulting, it's saying that if I can zoom in. Yeah, sure. Sorry for that. I'm going to zoom in, right? And I hope that the next resources that I share are more visible to you. Fantastic. So we're going to continue with manage and unlocked packages. As a reminder, no credential distribution, no IP protection, and the components are subscriber editable. So these are very useful to move metadata between one OR and the next OR in your pipeline. Here I have in gray some features that managed packages have and that were also true for first generation managed packages. And these are also some characteristics that unlocked packages have and that are exactly the same as in second generation managed packages. So this is something that we already discussed that was true for managed packages, and that is also true for unlocked or unmanaged packages. They work in the same way. So you see that many things work in the same way for 2GP managed packages and for unlocked managed packages. For instance, you can have like multiple packages per namespace. Versioning works on the same way. They can have the same kind of dependencies, and they need to be created through a CLI. They require a dev hub, etc., etc. Okay, everything that we mentioned before. So I've said namespace here, and this is exactly the response to what Extreme Weirdness was asking on the chat. They can have a namespace, and that has an implication, okay? So despite that code is not intellectual property protected and it is customer editable, if you decide to add a namespace to an unlocked package, and you want the components or other packages in the same namespace to be able to see some methods in that package, you need to use also global and namespace access or global classes, or is like more convenient actually using namespace accessible annotation. Okay, this is something a little bit weird, but it is how it works. I've been told that it is because the Apex compiler, it looks for that annotation and it's like disconnected from the whole like managed packages or unmanaged package, or unlocked package differentiation. Okay, in which cases it is convenient to have a namespace. So imagine that you start to work on an OR in which you are not using packaging at all, and you decide to migrate that OR to adopt a packaging strategy, right? And you decide that you want to start creating unlocked packages. But creating unlocked packages for all your metadata can be a nightmare, right? If it's an old OR with lots of configurations. So one approach in which you can perform that adoption is you create an unlocked package with a namespace, and that way you know that all the metadata that has been added to the package has a namespace, while the metadata that doesn't have a namespace yet doesn't. And you continue like adding metadata to that namespace unlocked package, and then in your production, or for instance, or in your sandbox, you can actually see if it was added to the package already or not. Okay, that is a use case that I have seen in the documentation that you can implement. And then what else? Okay, let's talk about upgradability. So managed packages are not upgradable, and that's a big blocker for them, okay? Because you install a managed package in a subscriber or in whatever you want to install it, right? And the only way to install a new version is uninstall it and install a new version of it, right? But you cannot really upgrade or downgrade the package. However, in unlocked packages, this is possible. So the versioning system is the same one that we follow with 2GP managed packages, and it's easy to create new versions and upgrade packages. That also opens the possibility to delete metadata by installing a new version of the package. That was not possible with unmanaged ones, right? And then, okay, and then this is true also for first GP. Yeah, unmanaged packages cannot depend. Yeah, I think this is wrong. Don't. I think I just bring that. Can depend on you. Okay, no, sorry for that. So unmanaged packages cannot depend on other packages, while unlocked packages can depend on 1GP or 2GP packages. Exactly. Fantastic. So there is something else. So imagine that you want to start that migration to unlocked packages, right? But it's being really hard for you to untangle dependencies. That's a really typical situation, right? When you have an old OR with a lot of metadata and you want to start using packaging because you know that it's going to be great for you, that the code is going to be more modular, that is going to be able, it's going to be easier for you to move code, like divide it in groups, in little boxes that you move from one node to another, right? But you are finding it super hard to untangle the dependencies, because every time that you try to save an Apex class, you find that depends on another metadata and another metadata and another metadata. So there is an option for you. There is a special type of unlocked packages called OR dependent unlocked packages. And these are slightly different from the regular unlocked packages, okay? So instead of, for unlocked packages, you can install them anywhere, in any OR, right? But with OR dependent unlocked packages, what we are going to do is that we are going to join that unlocked package to an OR. And we are going to say that that package is only installable in that OR. It can only be installed in that specific OR with which it is bound, right? That way, we can depend on metadata that exists in that OR without having to make our package self-deployable, right? So it can be an option to also do that migration step by step. You start with an OR-dependent unlocked package, and you start adding things into it, but you don't have that strict restriction of having to make it self-deployable, right? And not having having dependencies with anything else. At the same time, it has some drawbacks because you can install it anywhere. It depends on the OR in which you are installing it. And regards to the process, to how it works, the package creation, it changes a little bit, right? Because with unlocked packages, when you create a version of an unlocked packages, what happens is that the code is going to be, so we try like a deploy, I don't remember, only deploy option, or no, check only option, right? This is what it happens behind the scenes. And it's like when you create the version, the create version command checks that your metadata is self-contained and that that package doesn't have dependencies with anything else. But with OR dependent ones, those metadata dependencies are resolved when you install that package in the subscriber or in the target, or okay, and that can like give you errors like later in the process, and you may need to like repeat the process of creating the version over and over, or at least more times than with unlocked packages. Also, you have to take care of code coverage calculation, because when you create a package version with regular unlocked packages, if you want to promote the package, you need to run it with a flag that executes your test and ensure that code coverage is greater than 75%. But when you do the same with or dependent on log packages, as there's no metadata dependencies resolution, the tests are not executed and you don't know the percentage of code coverage that that package has. So the only way that you have to check that coverage is by installing it into the target. Yeah, and I think that's it for now. And we are going to the demo. So let me share first some more resources with you. So here first, we have the unlocked packages documentation, and I leave you the link here. Everything is really, really well explained, and you can find all the details of what I mentioned. Then here you have a trailhead module, and I'm going to share with you the link here too. Sorry, because I don't have all the links created. Now it works. So if you want to learn more about unlocked packages, this is a great resource. Then if you want to learn more about or dependent unlocked packages, there is also another section in the documentation, and I leave you the link here. There you have. And that's it. We are going to continue with the demo. First, I'm going to take a look at the chat to see if there are any questions. Hamed from Kenya has a question. And the question is, can these packages only be created from a production environment? You can actually create them with any org that has a dev hub enabled. For instance, I've created the packages that we are going to see today from a developer org. You just need to activate the dev hub and the packaging feature. That is something that you can find here on the setup menu. Dev hub. You go into dev hub, right? And you have to enable dev hub, and you have to enable unlocked packages and second generation managed packages. But again, you don't need to have the code here. The code is in your local copy of your repository, and you use the dev hub just as a reference, a place where you are going to list where your package versions and your packages are going to be listed, right? And they're, like, for instance, the code coverage and some other properties that we are going to see now. But you don't need to deploy your code to the org that acts as a dev hub, right? Then Connie is asking, well, I think it's responding to the question that unlocked package can have the namespace. That's correct. And Connie is saying, it is nice to cover the metadata report. Such a great place to find if you can include some metadata to a package. It is also helpful to find the type of a package. Yeah, exactly. So this is a metadata coverage report that I showed before, and in which you can also see what's available for unlocked packaging. And then there is one more question from Andre. Hello, do we need to create a case to Salesforce support to delete metadata in managed package for all metadata types, or some metadata can be deleted without asking? So I'm not sure if you are referring to 1GP or 2GP. I worked with 1GP in the past, and for 1GP, there was some metadata that you could remove, but that was going to remain in the customer org in some cases. And there was also some metadata that was harder to remove. For instance, like global classes, there were some workarounds to do it, but it was hard. Okay, it was not straightforward. That was for 1GP. For a second generation package, I think this is much more streamlined. I haven't created really a second generation managed package myself, but I have read that it is indeed much easier to delete metadata in those packages. Fantastic. So I wanted to show you. So this, sorry, and it's not package. This interface, for some of you, it will be familiar because this is the UI from which you can create first generation managed packages and also unmanaged packages, okay? And today I did a test, for instance, of creating some unmanaged packages here. And remember that this requires that this is your packaging org and that you have all your code and your configuration in this org, and it is much less flexible. However, for second generation managed packages, you just need to activate the org. Here I'm using the same org just because I'm doing a demo, okay? But it doesn't need to be like your dev hub, again, doesn't need to be an org which is your production or in which you have your metadata. Although I think that if you set your production org as dev hub, you have higher limits. But double check that because I'm not completely sure. I would say yes. Okay. Higher limits in regards to scratchers, creations, and so on. Yeah, exactly. It is like that. Fantastic. So this is our dev hub. So what I have done is to set up this or as a dev hub, and I've cloned the Dreamhouse LWC repo. This is one of our sample apps that I hope that you're familiar with. And if you are not, I recommend you to take a look at it at our Trailhead apps. Well, you know what happened? That I'm not connected to the network, so you are not going to be able to see it. But you believe me that I'm going to share with you the link. So these are our Trailhead apps. So you need to believe me that they're in that GitHub link that I'm currently showing on the screen. You have all our a group of sample apps that you can use to learn Salesforce development, in which we have examples for Apex implementation and for Lightning Web Components and for many other things. Okay, so with that, I wanted to show you that I have cloned that repo. So this is my local copy of Dreamhouse, and we are going to try to make a package for Dreamhouse, okay? See that here I have some Apex classes. I also have some Lightning Web components. Well, all the components that are part of this application that I mentioned. And this is a clone of the Git repo. So the first thing that we need to do is to create a file called sfdxproject.json. In this file is where you're going to define all the properties and the configuration for your project. And it's heavily used by packaging. And it's used in 2GP and also unlocked packages. I shared before the project configuration file properties for 2GP, which is this resource here. And there is another resource which explains how that project configuration file must be used for unlocked packages, which is what we are going to do today. And I'm going to share this with you right now. Project file unlocked. Okay. There you have, okay? So this is the documentation that you will need to follow to configure how your package is going to be created. So if I go to VS Code, I've started here with like a minimal configuration, right? I'm just saying that my package is not having, indeed, I think I can remove this. Okay, let's do it this way. I'm saying that the unlocked package that I'm going to create doesn't have a namespace. And I'm saying that my package directory, my main package directory is force app, which is this directory here. And the first thing that we're going to do is to create a package, right? And for that, we're going to type a command. So the commands for working with packaging both exist in the SFDX CLI and the SF CLI, but of course, I'm going to use the new CLI because that's like the most like the most optimal CLI that we have available. For those that don't know, there was an SFDX version of the CLI which was older, and then this year we made generally available a new version which is the SF CLI, and these are the commands that I'm going to use. Okay, so let's create a package. What we are going to do is to type SF package create minus name, and I'm going to use all the flags with its whole name because they are easier to understand, but all of them have a shortcut, right? So minus name, and here I can give a name to my package. So we are going to call it greenhouse. Then I need to say which type of package I want to create. I'm going to create an unlocked package. I'm going to specify which is the path that my package is going to take the metadata from. This helps you with modularization, right? Because you could have different folders in your source code and be creating different packages with the metadata that you have on different paths. So it's very flexible. That's something that you couldn't do in first DP at all. And then we're going to specify which is our target dev hub. Again, somewhere where that is an OR that we are going to use just to create packaging ORs, scratchers, sorry, and to take note of our packages and package versions. So I'm going to execute this, and I've written something wrongly, like this, okay? And this is very quick. This is just the creation of a record in a database table that says package. The package has this ID and the name of the package is greenhouse. And if you see here, my sfdx project.json was auto-completed. Let me put this a little bit down. It was auto-completed, right? Now it has more information here. It has the force app directory now has been bound to a package whose name is greenhouse. The version name and version number, it's something that you can specify with the flags, but it took the default ones. And same with the version description. And then it's added a package alias, so I can work both with the package ID or the package alias in my commands. Okay, very convenient. Great, so this is the package, but now we need to create a package version, which is the thing that you install in the target OR. And we are going to do that with another command. We're going to clear this. And we are going to use another command, which is sf package version create minus package. And then here you could use the package ID or you could use the name of the package as long as it is in your package.json file. Package.json, no, sfdx project.json file. Then you could set an installation key, but I'm going to bypass that. Then you need to specify the target dev hub, which is going to be this one, the one in which I just activated the packaging feature and set it as a dev hub. And then There are two optional parameters that are important and that I'm going to explain. So first of all, if I run the command like this, it is going to create the package, ensuring that my code is self-contained and it doesn't have dependencies with other metadata, and that the package can be created, but it is not going to run the tests. And if I plan to promote the package, because this is going to create like a beta version, right? So if I plan to promote the package to make something that is like production ready, and in that case, I need to run the test on these steps. And that's super important. And how you run the test? You set another flag, which is code coverage. Great, that's going to run the test. What's the other thing that I want to mention? There is another parameter, which is minus weight, to which you can pass a value. So if I execute the command without the minus weight, this is going to execute asynchronously. And when my package version is created, the alias is not going to be automatically added to the sfdx.json file. However, if I do the minus weight, then it is going to wait for it. And I have something wrong. I will fix it now. It is going to wait for that, and it's going to write that package version information into this packages aliases property. Okay, so let's see what I wrote wrongly. I missed a G. And we're going to execute this. And now what this is doing, this is going to take a while because it's like making sure that my code is self-deployable. Meanwhile, I'm going to take a look at the chat. Do you have any questions? I don't see any questions in the chat. And I would love to see some. If not, do you want to tell me, are you using packaging? Have you started feeling the benefits of two-generation packages? Do you have something that you don't like about packaging? Waiting for your responses here. And meanwhile, we can also take a look at some more resources that I have here. So for instance, if you want to become an ISV partner and publish a package, a managed package on the App Exchange, this is a guide in which everything is explained. And I'm going to share this right now with a QR code. There you have. And what else do I have here? We already saw this. This I'm going to tell you later. And this is something that I mentioned before. Okay. So let's see how this goes. Something that I recommend you to do is to, right after this stream, if you are really interested in packaging, try to reproduce exactly what I'm doing with a few metadata that you have for a specific project or something really, really simple, so that you really familiarize yourself with the whole process and you experience that yourself, okay? Okay. So the package version was created. Now it's telling me that I successfully created the package version. This is the ID. This is the subscriber package version ID. This is the installation URL. And it's telling me that I can already install it with the package install command. Okay. So instead of doing that, what we're going to do is to explore a few more commands that we have available. So for instance, if I want to see the list of packages that are available, you can type sf package list, And this is going to give you all your packages with all their IDs, all the ones that you have associated with your Dev Hub. At the moment, I haven't specified the target Dev Hub parameter on this command because I'm already connected to that. But if you are not connected, if you don't have your project connected to that Dev Hub, you need to specify the target Dev Hub parameter, right? But we are going to omit it for now. Then if I want to take a look at the package versions, of course, I can do something like SF package version list. And we can see that I created a version before, and this is the one that we have just created. It's version 01. By the way, look that the ID was added here. So I can work in the commands both with the package version ID or the alias that was created. And I have a few more information for the version. But if I want to really get all the information available for that version, there is something else that I can do, because there is a command which is sf package version report. Then you use minus package, and then you write the version ID or the version name for which you wanna that report. You wanna get that report. So our version is greenhouse version 010/1. And with this command, I'm going to get much more information because I can see, for instance, the code coverage percentage that it reached out. And this is really helpful for debugging when your package is giving some errors, when you try to promote it. It's really a good option to take a look at. What else? Okay. I wanted to mention that this is also an object that you can really query, right, with the tooling API. I could do that with a command, but I'm going to show you because I want to open that object so you see all their fields. Okay, it's an object called, or no, it's not here available, so it is not possible. It's not possible. Then we're going to query that object. Okay, we are going to execute an SQL query, and we are going to do it through the Salesforce CLI. Okay, so the new command is sf data SQL query, I believe. Okay, data query, and minus query is going to be it's not letting me paste here. 1 second. There you have. So my query is going to be, I'm going to select some fields from the package2 version object, but I need to do that with the tooling API. I'm not sure how to, let me see how to execute the query with the tooling API, but use tooling API, okay. So, okay. So the flag is use tooling API, and the query needs to be between quotes. Okay, so and I want to execute this query, so you see that there is a way to really get information from the S object. So all the information that we got in the version report, you can get it by executing a query. And this can be helpful if you are considering to create external tool that works with packaging. Okay. And what else? Let me see my notes here. Yeah, I wanted to also share the link to that package 2 version object. And I'm going to create a QR code for that because it's super convenient. You can see it there right now. Yeah, and finally, another helpful command that you can use for packaging is the limits command, because there is a limit that applies to packaging, which is like the number of packages that you can, versions really, that you can create. I think it's in 24 hours. And the number of versions that you can create without validation. Okay, and this is by 24 hours. Fantastic. So the idea would be, I have my package, so it's like beta. So the idea would be I install the package in a target, or I test it, I see that everything is working correctly. And the next phase is going to be promoting my package. And how do you promote a package? So first of all, remember, you need to create a version with the code coverage flag so it can be promoted, at least for regular and locked packages, right? And the command that you need to use for that is sf package version promote, then minus package, then the version that you want to promote, for instance, this one, then again, the target or, okay, I'm going to omit it because I think that as I am connected to it, it's going to let me do it like this. Then it's telling me, are you sure that you want to release this package version? You can't undo this action. Yes, I want to do it. And now it tells me, successfully promoted the package version. Starting in winter 21, only unlocked package versions that have met the minimum 75% code coverage can be promoted. Mine was 98%, so that's why I was able to promote it. And it's also saying that code coverage aren't enforced on or dependent unlocked packages as we saw before. Fantastic. So two more considerations that I wanted to share regarding how you create these packages. If we go to the project configuration file, here you are going to find two important properties. One of them is Apex test access. And this property allows you to specify a permission set or permission set license that is used when your tests are run. This is when you are creating the package version and you use the -- code coverage flag. I mentioned that the test run, right? So if you need to assign a permission set to the running user because that's the only way in which the tests are going to pass, you have to do it through this property in the sfdx project.json file. The other important property here is dependencies. So I mentioned that unlocked packages can depend on other packages, right? And where do you specify those dependencies? In this property, it is the same property that is used for the sfdx project config file, sfdx config.json file in 2GP, but used to create unlocked packages and specify dependencies. So for instance, here I'm saying that I'm depending on this package and this version number. Here I'm saying that I'm depending on the latest package. Yeah, I think this means that any versions, that this number can vary from 0 to 9, okay? That any versions are allowed, and you can install specify dependencies even to other unlocked packages, okay? So that's important. So I didn't mention anything about this, how you set up version names, but this is called semantic versioning. And this is like widely used in several other programming technologies, right? And always the first number represents the major version. The second number represents a major version. This means that you haven't changed like quite a lot of things, right? And the third number represents a patch version. And this is how you create patch versions in unlocked packages and also 2GP managed packages. Okay, fantastic. So just something else to do, which is let's install our package, right? I'm going to clear this. Today, I don't know how to type the word clear, it seems. And how do we do that, right? Very easy. We can do sf package install minus package greenhouse. Well, I need to copy that again. Greenhouse. And here we do need to specify the target OR. And of course, you need to be authorized with your target OR. I pre-authorized before, right? And that target OR, in my case, is going to be alba@targetor.com. As you see, I'm not very creative with my org names. So this is a command that is going to install that package in the target, or so you can play with it or use it in the ways that you need it. Of course, there are other ways to install the package. For instance, I'm giving that some permissions. So for instance, you can use the installation URL. I'm going to show you that. So for instance, let's see, package version report. Let's take a look at the report again. And in the report, we can see this parameter, which is subscriber package version ID. And you can use that parameter to install the package through the URL. A typical tip, okay? So for instance, let's say I'm going to log in that target OR. A typical trick here is that you go to the URL and you write, I think it's package, let me see, URL install packages in Salesforce. I never remember. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so you use the domain, and then this is one option, okay? And there is another option too. I'm going to try that one. So you write this, and then you add here the ID. Let's see. And this is letting me install the package through the UI. Okay, this is another option. But of course, if you are automating this, for instance, in a continuous integration workflow, you can do it with the command line. And as we are developers, I wanted to show you that option, which I think it's more convenient. So our package installation work, okay. Well, we don't know yet, but I'm going to report of that using one of the commands that it tells me. Wow, gave me an error. It seems, yeah. So what happened with this is that I created a test package before the codeLive, and I already installed it in the org. And what happens is that as my package is not namespace, it's trying to install the same metadata because I packaged exactly the same metadata, and a collision is happening. Okay, and that is another use case for which namespaces can be really useful for unlocked packages, of course, that I forgot to mention before. Okay, so say that, I'm going to take a look at the questions because we are going to be closing soon. Questions here. I'm creating a 2GP and I'm thinking to use a centralized logger. Does Salesforce recommend some platforms like Axiom Datadog to use in that case? Are any problems for security review in that case? So, Andre, I'm sorry, but actually I cannot talk about to that because I don't know. Okay, not because Salesforce doesn't let me, but because I don't know. What I can do is to take your question asynchronously and see if I can find something and add it into a comment. Okay. Then another question from Andre. He's saying, also, I have a weird situation when a global layout from a package can be successfully installed to a developer or but not to a sandbox. Oof, take a look. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you because I have had problems with that in the past with classes. And I remember that having dependencies from a global class to another class that had like an older API version was problematic. But in your case, you're talking about a layout. So I'm not sure. I cannot help you more without taking a look at that specific use case, Andre. But I recommend you to post on the Trailblazer community Salesforce developers group because there you can give like more detail. I'm sure that people can help you. Then we have Patel Nikan. Can we downgrade the package version in production, like currently installed version 2.0, but want to go back to V10? I think so. And if you cannot do it like that way, I haven't tried myself, okay? Try it out. And if you can't, you can always, as in this case, the source of truth is your source code. You can always like create a third version of the package using the source code that was that corresponded to version 1. Okay, if you have that tagged with a branch or with a GitHub tag, with a Git tag somehow, right? But try it out because I think it may be possible. And then Eric Borte said, super smooth demo. I will definitely help us a lot with packages. Thank you very much for this session, Alba. Yeah, I think it was an important topic, and I think that there is a lot of information there, but some details of blockers that you can find when creating packages. For instance, this thing I told you about the Apex test access property or about the code coverage calculation are not straightforward. So I hope that this was helpful not only for you, but also for more people and also for those who watch this asynchronously. Okay, so if there are no more questions, I'm going to thank you for being here today. It's been super exciting for me to work on this topic for you. And in December, I think I'm going to do a codeLive again. I don't know the topic yet, but stay tuned because we'll announce it soon. I wish you the best luck. And something else. I'm going to mention that today we launched, well, yesterday really, something called Journey to Salesforce. Okay, let's see if it's already okay. Maybe I have here. Let me find the landing page. 1 second. Bear with me. Bear with me, because this is going to be super interesting for you. I shared so many things today and I cannot find it. Here it is. Here it is. Okay. Here it is. So Journey to Salesforce is a new program for people to become Salesforce developers. It consists of 5 trail mixes that you need to complete. There are rewards, and there is also a Slack community and office hours to help you completing it. So if you are new to Salesforce development, or if you are starting, I recommend you to take a look. You're going to learn about Apex, Lightning Web Components, and also Flow and all other declarative tools. And it's been designed specially to beginners who want to start in the Salesforce development ecosystem. So I recommend you to take a look and enroll. And I'm going to share, sorry, I'm not sharing my screen. Here it is. I'm going to share a link to that also on the screen, so you can go to the landing page and register. Something important is that it's only available in 3 countries so far. It's in Canada, India, and United States. But if the program is successful, we will expand it to other countries soon. And with that, I want to thank you again. Thank you so much for connecting today, and see you on the next codeLive.